The right attitude.
All right. We do not have to settle on the side of objectivism or subjectivism, but we can adopt an aesthetic attitude when viewing art.
Beauty is a personal preference. There are no standards of beauty. How can we say, this is beautiful? It sounds like a cognitive judgment.
Are there universal traits in art that make it beautiful?
No, there are no objective properties of beauty that exist in the object. If beauty were an objective matter such as color, there would be nothing to disagree over. You see, there is rarely a judgment that is strictly personal. Therefore, we can expect our view to be shared. But this is not due to objective properties and criteria. Kant contrasts this by saying, while the judgments may be subjective, the experience of beauty is not purely subjective. Common sensitive nature, sensus communis, is what we confuse with objectivism. The shared sense is a similar experience between viewers that is mistaken for properties an object contains. Gadamer says that a work of art demands to be constructed by the viewer to whom it is presented. This means we can all construct similar views, declaring the object to be beautiful and demanding the same delight from others, forgetting that our views are still subjective.
For example, we cannot expect one who appreciates the art of the masters to see beauty in a Jackson Pollock or a ready-made. These aesthetic qualities are vastly different and varied. This is when you adopt the aesthetic attitude, a state of mind that the viewer undergoes to perceive something as beautiful. This is a way of seeing or hearing, touching or tasting. The aesthetic is not a thing in and of itself.
I don't believe there is a separate state of mind we enter, though.
No, but we can focus our attention on something without thinking of functionality of what we are observing. To view art with an aesthetic attitude means one must distance themselves from a totally subjective or objective attitude. Contemplation and distance are the two principal elements in the aesthetic attitude. In order to contemplate art, there needs to be enough distance to allow for free play of the imagination. Going back to Gadamer's view, that the work of art is something that only manifests and displays itself when it is constituted by the viewer.
Then can't everything be viewed with the aesthetic attitude? What is the connection between art and the aesthetic?
When we view something considered to be beautiful in nature, this is viewing scientific fact. When we view beautiful art, we recognize that it is an application of someone's skill, and that it is not a beautiful object, but a beautiful representation of an object. This is how we differentiate art from everyday objects.
What if the art piece is a ready-made and not a representation of something, or appear to be made with any skill?
As Kant says, it has purposefulness without purpose. An aesthetic judgment placed on these pieces is disinterestedly free, disinterestedness of the kind that below speaks of, when we place distance between ourselves and the object. The aesthetic judgment is to be distinguished from 1. Fact, because it is subjective. It is not common knowledge like science. 2. The purely subjective, because it commands a sense of others to create standards. 3. A judgment grounded in practical rationality, because the beautiful has no practical purpose. Its functionality is not taken into consideration. And finally, 4. The absolutely superficial and fancy, because it has a mark of purposefulness.
So maybe the point is that there is no point?
Yes. By adopting an aesthetic attitude, we can see value and beauty in things that are not adequately viewed merely subjectively or objectively. Done. Oh my gosh. How do I turn this thing off? Red button. Okay.